I think it's time. Let's get back on track. Hi, my name is Sarah, and welcome to my channel, which is all about sewing and styling a handmade wardrobe. If you've been watching my past few videos, then you will know that I have lost my sojo, and I've been trying to brainstorm ways that I can get it back. I have been working on a couple of projects, and I actually have a pattern review coming up for you later this week, but the process has been really slow, and I can't say that I've actually been enjoying it. So I came up with a way that I could jumpstart my sojo, and for me, it's all about the planning. I decided to make myself a winter module. Now, module sewing was very popular a couple of years ago during the pandemic, but I actually did not participate at that time. I have not sewn myself a module. Most of you are probably familiar with the concept. It was made very popular by Whitney from Tomcat Stitchery, but just a very brief overview, a module is a set of clothing that all mixes and matches and goes together. There's a specific number of pieces, mainly 6 or 7, that you sew, and it's kind of like making a mini capsule. I don't want to make an entire capsule wardrobe because I know that I would get tired before I finished all those pieces, and so I really like the idea of just sewing 6 or 7. It feels like an attainable goal for me. And because I live in Western New York, winter will be here until at least mid-April, sometimes into May, and so I have plenty of time to sew a module and have some time to wear it too before winter ends. So because I'm determined to follow through on this module, I've decided to make this a whole series. So today I'm going to be talking about my plans and sharing the fabrics and patterns that I'm going to sew with you. Part 2 will be sharing the finished garments with you and sharing any sewing details, so similar to my makes videos, I will do all of that in one video. In part 3, I will style the module pieces together so you can see how they mix and match and make a cohesive mini wardrobe. And then in part 4, I will do a second styling video where I integrate my module pieces into the rest of my wardrobe. So I will show how well the pieces fit in with my wardrobe and with what I already have in my closet. So I hope that you're excited about going on this journey with me, and if you are, now would be a really great time to hit the subscribe button if you have not already subscribed, and while you're at it, please hit the like button because it helps more people find my channel. Thank you so much for your support. So today we're going to dive into part 1 of this series, which is all about the planning. I really love planning. It's one of the most exciting things for me. It might even be more fun than sewing sometimes. So I am so excited to share these projects with you. I can feel my sojo coming back and I really want to get started on this module. I'm really hopeful that I can finish this entire sewing project by mid-March. So that's kind of my informal deadline that I've set for myself, but it's not a hard and fast deadline. So let's just get to the plans, and we're going to start with dresses. So the first piece that I'm going to share with you is a dress. I would like to make the Jennifer Lauren handmade Dulcie Pinafore. I bought the pattern I think a couple of years ago. It comes in sizes 6 to 34 with bust cup options from A to F. It has a square neckline, it fully buttons down the front with an A-line skirt, and it has princess seams. It also has pockets and the bodice is lined. The fabric that I chose for this is a black corduroy from Joann Fabrics. Now I do actually have this fabric already in my stash, but I'm going to just put in a stock photo so you can see what it looks like, because what I realized was when I pulled the fabric out of my stash, I forgot that when I pre-washed it, I had washed it with something fuzzy like a blanket or towels or something, and it's completely covered in lint. I need to wash it again. So I didn't want to show you how bad that it looks right now, so I just put in a stock photo, but that is the fabric that I'm planning to use, and I do already own it. I do also need lining fabric, and so I placed an order from Minerva, and that fabric has not arrived yet. I just got a simple anti-static lining. And even though the pattern only calls for the bodice to be lined, I ordered enough lining fabric to do the entire dress because I figure it is corduroy. It would be helpful to have the entire thing lined so that it won't stick to tights. Now the reason why I chose a pinafore dress as part of this module is because in the winter I find that pinafores are a really good option for the cold weather. They layer really well, and I think the tops I have chosen will all go really well underneath this particular dress. So I think that it is just a natural fit for my closet and for this module in particular. Let's talk about some tops that will layer under that pinafore dress. So I have 3 tops that I plan to make. 2 of them are extremely simple and they're actually using the same pattern. I'm going to use the Victory Patterns Frances tee. It's a modular top and dress pattern that has a lot of different necklines and sleeve variations. You can do a normal mid-hip length top, you can do a crop top or a dress. I have sewn this pattern many times before. It is one of my TNT patterns, and I think one of the aspects that's going to make my module sewing a success is to choose a few projects that are quick and simple that I can easily make, that I am familiar with, so that's why I put that particular pattern on this list. Now for one of my versions, I want to use this premium merino jersey from the fabric store. I bought this in their Black Friday sale. I believe the colorway is called Cloud. Now when I was ordering it, I thought that this was a white fabric, but when it got here in the mail, I realized it's actually a pale gray. I would have preferred white, but I think the gray is fine. I think that this will mix and match really well with the color palette that I have chosen for this particular module. And for the pattern version, I'm going to do the long sleeve top with the mock turtleneck. Now I have made a version of this top before with the mock turtleneck, but it was with a shorter sleeve, so I haven't made this particular variation before, but it's a really great basic. I think that it'll integrate super well into my wardrobe, and the merino jersey, I already know I love that fabric. It's so easy and comfortable to wear, and it's nice and warm. It'll be the perfect layering top. The second version of the Francis top that I want to make is out of this really bright pink modal jersey that I got from Surge Fabrics. I was immediately drawn to the color. I just think that it is so fun, and I really love a pop of color in the wintertime just to cheer me up when it's super dreary outside. This fabric is so soft and it has a ton of drape, and the version that I am planning to sew with this one is the standard long sleeve crew neck, and I have made a couple of these before. I really like the fit, and I think that it is again going to be a wonderful layering option. I could easily put it under the pinafore dress and also wear it with the bottoms that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. Oh, and the Francis tee comes in sizes 0 to 18, so unfortunately it's not very size inclusive, but it does have a ton of options. If you do fit into the range, I think that it is a nice pattern, and hopefully one day maybe she'll expand the sizing. My third top for the module is a woven blouse. I wanted to add a different kind of top for some more variety, and I wanted to choose a print. So the pattern that I've chosen is the Sew Over It Pussy Bow blouse. This pattern comes in sizes 6 to 20 and also in 18 to 30. It's a pullover woven blouse that has two different neckline options. I believe both blouses have a V-neck, but there's an option where you can put the tie up high so you tie it higher up on the neck, or you can make a version that's more like a scarf where the tie is lower down towards the V-neck. I'm going to make the higher neck version because I think that that one will sit better underneath the pinafore. This pattern is also on my Make 9 list, so I thought it would be wonderful to kill two birds with one stone and get something checked off of that list as well as I'm sewing this module. The fabric that I've chosen is this really beautiful Dashwood Studios rayon. I got this from Style Maker Fabrics 2 years ago. It has a black background and then it has these really beautiful warm pinks. And it's kind of a small to medium scale floral, which I think works really well for me in my petite frame. I don't like to wear really large scale florals because I feel like they overwhelm me, but I think this one is nice. I think it will be a really good match for the Pussy Bow blouse, and I think that the blouse will layer really nicely under the pinafore and also go well with the bottoms that I'm going to share with you shortly. Moving on to bottoms. I have two pairs of pants that I would like to make for this module. The first is one that I have made before. It's the Megan Nielsen Ash jeans. This pattern comes in sizes 0 to 20 and also 14 to 30. It's a stretch jean pattern with a mid-rise and it has 4 different leg shapes, and I am planning to make the flare version, which I have made once before. The fabric that I have chosen is this super stretch Cone Mills denim fabric that I have had in my stash since 2018. I bought it from D&H Fabrics. I have 5 yards of this, but it is a narrow width fabric. I'm actually hoping that I'll be able to get 2 pairs of jeans out of this fabric ultimately, but I do want to use at least one of them on this flare jeans pattern. The reason that I chose this particular pattern is because I've made it before. I've done a lot of fitting adjustments. I need to do a couple more tweaks to the pattern, but it's pretty close to being a good fit. And I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel and try out an entirely new jeans pattern that would probably take a lot of fitting. I think that because I'm familiar with this pattern, that it should be a relatively smooth sew, and so I'm looking forward to making up those jeans because I could really use something like that in my wardrobe. I think that the flare leg pattern will work really, really well with all 3 of the tops that I have chosen. And there's also a bonus layering piece that I'm going to talk about at the end that I think could be a really good match with these pants. But even if I don't get to that, I think that this will be a really good addition to the module. Now for my second pair of pants, I've chosen a pattern that I do not actually own yet. I looked through my pattern stash and I do have some designs that are fairly similar, but this pattern was just exactly what I was looking for, so I do think that I will end up purchasing that pattern. And that is the Paradise Patterns Protea or Protea, I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'm going to say Protea pants. It comes in sizes 00 up to 30. It's a wide leg trouser and you can make a version that has pleats or you can leave it flat front. I've really been wanting to make the wide leg trouser style work for me, and I think the key is going to be choosing the right fabric. I did look up a lot of tester pictures on Instagram to see if this pattern would work for shorter people like me, and I think that it will. It's just one of those things where I need to try it out for myself and see if I like it. This pattern actually takes quite a lot of fabric. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say it takes almost 3 yards of fabric. And when I purchase fabric for pants, I pretty much always buy 2 yards because most of the time that's plenty. So I didn't have enough fabric of anything in my stash. I was really prioritizing trying to choose fabrics that were already in my stash for this module, but in this case, I just didn't have enough quantity of anything to make these particular pants. So I placed an order at Minerva, and I don't have the fabric right now, but I will put away stock photo, although I don't think the photo is very interesting because it's just black. But I ordered a black viscose twill from Minerva. It's a little bit of a more medium weight, so it should be good for pants. And I do think that because it's a viscose, it should drape enough for that wide leg not to be too stiff or stand out too much. I am a little bit concerned that it's going to be too cold for winter, but my thought was that I could probably easily layer tights or perhaps leggings underneath if I needed another layer to wear it in the wintertime. With any luck, this will be an all-year staple that I can wear, and black pants are always just so incredibly practical. At least in my life they are. I was also thinking that this might be a really good opportunity to try out the top-down, center-out fitting method. I keep hearing about this everywhere. I bought the Threads issue that explains it. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's starting to scare me a little bit because it's sounding like a little bit of a cult on Instagram, but I am always interested in trying new fitting methods and seeing if they will work for me. And I think that this particular pattern would be good for that method because it's fairly loose. Like, I'm pretty sure I really only need to concentrate on fitting the waist, and then the rest of it just kind of flows straight down. So it should be relatively simple to fit, and getting the length adjustment right, of course. So I might try that method, no guarantees, but I do think that would be a good candidate if you were looking to try out top down, center out. Now let's move on to the layering piece. I actually have an additional bonus piece that I'm going to share with you at the end, but the layering option that I'm going to make absolutely for sure is the Pattern Emporium Grab a Cup of Cardi. I'm going to make the cropped view with the long sleeves, and this pattern comes in sizes 4 to 30. It's an oversized button front cardigan that comes in 3 lengths, and it has optional pockets that you can add. And this was actually a leftover from my fall sewing plans. I had always intended to make this cardigan, but I didn't buy the pattern until they had their Boxing Day sale. And I have actually cut out a tester version of this cardigan that I'm hoping to make up sometime this weekend. So I may end up changing my mind about the pattern if I decide that I don't like that cardigan, but my plans right now are to use that for my layering piece. I think the cropped view with the buttons will mix really well with my bottoms, and it should layer really nicely over all 3 tops. The only thing that I'm unsure about is I don't know how it's going to look over the pinafore dress, but I'll just have to see what it looks like when I try it on together. The fabric that I have chosen is this really beautifully soft Moraine double cashmere fabric from Serge Fabrics that I bought last year. This is not a cashmere, I think it's like a rayon blend, but it does feel really nice. It doesn't really feel like cashmere, but it is soft. It's definitely a sweater knit. I think that it'll be nice and warm and cozy, and I love the white color. I think that this neutral white will pair really well with all of the other pieces in the module, and I wanted to make my layering piece fairly simple and easy to complete because some of the other makes are a little bit more complicated, especially the bottoms. Now I do have a bonus layering piece that I would like to make just in case I somehow have time. I really don't think that I will, but if I somehow rush through all of these other pieces and I still have a little bit of time left in winter, I might go ahead and make this one too. It's the Butterick 6901 vest. This pattern is actually a vest pattern and pants, but I'm just going to concentrate on the vest. It comes in sizes 6 to 24, it's fully lined, and it has ties in the back. And I just think that it would be a fabulous layering piece to put over those really fitted t-shirts or even the tie neck blouse. I think that the style of the vest would work really well with sort of the 70s vibe that I have going with the flare jeans and also with the nice trousers. So I have 2 different fabric options that I am still trying to decide on. I will also need lining, but I'll just decide what I want to do about the lining if I actually make the garment. The first fabric option that I pulled is this wool suiting from Fabric Mark that I bought literally ages ago. I want to say I bought it in like 2012, and it's just been sitting in my stash because I haven't known what to do with it. It's kind of an ash gray color. I think that it mixes well with the color palette of the wardrobe. And this is my secondary option. It's the one that I will pick if I'm not brave enough to choose my primary option, which is this black faux leather fabric that I got from Emma One Sock, I think last year. I only have a yard of this, but I think that's all that I would need. I've never sewn with faux leather before, so I'm a little bit scared to do it, but I think that it would make an absolutely amazing tailored vest. This fabric is really nice and soft, and it actually has a decent amount of drape to it for a faux leather, so I think that it would move nicely and it wouldn't be too stiff for a vest. Like I said, I'm not sure I'm going to have time to sew up this piece, but I think that it would make a great addition to this module, so fingers crossed that I will be able to get to it before winter ends. If you love the idea of creating your own coordinated closet, watch this little YouTube short that I made about building a trendy fall capsule wardrobe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.